G'day everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing very well. In tonight's video, I will be doing week 2 of the pre-season challenge trials. So I'll be doing my second week of the trials tipping videos. Now last week I got 4 of the 9 games correct, or if you want to count the All-Stars game, 5 out of 10. I know I didn't give a prediction for the All-Stars game, but I would have gone with the Australian All-Stars and they won 28-24. The games I got correct were teams I got correct rather were the Warriors, Sharks, Panthers, and the Helens. Now the teams I lost were the Rabbitohs, Storm, and the Raiders. And I guess you count the Cowboys and Broncos, but both the Queensland games were a draw. But without further ado, I hope I can do better this week. And it seems like most of the teams will have. This will be the week where all the main key players will return, or majority of them. Without further ado, let's get into the second week of the pre-season challenge trials tipping video. The first trial game kicking off in week 2 on the Friday is a double header at Industrial Group Stadium, just like last week. The first game up is between the Newcastle Knights and the Parramatta Eels. Now both of these teams lost to the Sharks and the Panthers respectively, but the Knights were the worst of the two teams. Knights played very poor. I was at this game, I watched the Knights play. They played very poorly. Surprised they managed to come back after being down 16 points to 4, or somewhere along the lines of that against the Sharks. While the Eels, while they weren't as bad as the Knights, they managed to come back and almost beat the Eels. I know they're mainly reserve grade games, or players rather, but it is what it is. For this game, I'm going to go, despite both doing dreadful performance, I will go the Parramatta Eels to win 13 plus, to win by 16 points. Now every team should be expecting to have their full squad majority for all of the teams. So and I think Eels have the better team than the Knights, but so the Eels to win by 16 points, 13 plus. And the final game ending up the Friday games. The second game at Industrial Group Stadium is between the Sydney Roosters and the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. Now the Roosters had a bit of a struggling first half, but they managed to come back and beat the Melbourne Storm to win 32 points to 24 in Geelong. While the Manly Sea Eagles had a crackerjack game against the South Sydney Rabbitohs last week at Industrial Group Stadium. I was at that game. If you haven't seen the vlog, check it out. It was a crazy vlog. It was such an amazing match. I believe this was the best game, not counting the All-Stars game. I think the Rabbitohs vs Manly was the best game of the first week of the trials games, in my personal opinion. Now this was a really tough game to pick, but I think with this one, if it's going to be full squads, I think the Roosters are easily going to win this one. So I'm going to say Roosters win 1 to 12 points by 6 points. I think Eels the Roosters will be too strong for Manly. Even though Manly had a good game last week, I think Roosters have the better squad. So Roosters win 1 to 12 points by 6 points. Now we are up to my favourite game of the entire week 2 of the trials. Obviously, it's the annual charity shield between the St George Illawarra Dragons and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, before I get into the history, Dragons did alright against the Helens last week, but St Helens were easily the team that was a better team, while the Bunnies had an epic clash against the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. I know we lost, but it was still a great game. Now this will be the 40th clash between the two teams in the Charity Shield. Now both of these teams, including St George Dragons and St George Illawarra, both of these teams have got 17 wins each with 5 draws. And Rabbitohs have retained in all those times, but whoever wins this one will be the official leader of the Charity Shield. I'm not counting the draws. Although the Rabbitohs have got more because of the draws, I think it just makes it fair for it to be 18-17 and not 22-17. But I think this is going to be a great encounter. Now I will back my boys to win this game, but it's going to be a close game, I reckon. So although I think Dragons will get there, I think Rabbitohs will be too good. So I think Rabbitohs will win 13 plus, but 14 points they will win by. I can't wait to see this clash. And I will be doing a Rugby League Live 4 video of it as well, and a review of the Charity Shield once it ends on Saturday. So keep an eye out for those 2 videos. But easily, best game for me for this round, or for this week rather. Rabbitohs win easily 13 plus. And it's the Rabbitohs redemption as the Dragons upset them last year 16-10 after Dragons did not win a single Charity Shield game in 9 years. Unbelievable. Rabbitohs won for 9 years straight. Well, it's our turn this time. So we're going to make it 18, or if you refer to the draws, 23. But we'll wait and see. Now we are up to the more important game of the trials. The World Club Challenge for the first time since 2020. The Panthers will take on the reigning champions Helens from the Bradford Super League in the UK. Now, this will be an interesting matchup. Who's the more dominant team they're going to say? Is it going to be Penrith? Penrith did alright against the Eels last week, only barely beating them 22-6. Also, Helens made a great impression against the Sir George Illawarra Dragons, winning 30-18 down there at Wynn Stadium. Now, everyone's been running off Sir Helens as they think they will lose by 13 plus. Well, I don't think so. I think this is going to be... Sure, they have to travel from the UK to Australia, but who cares? NRL teams have done that in the past as well, like the Bunnies, Cowboys, Roosters, etc. But I believe this is going to be a very close encounter, and after what we saw from Sir Helens last week, Penrith are going to have their full squad as well, like Cleary, Luai, Edwards, Fisher Harris, etc. But I believe I'm going to go for the upset. Sir Helens are going to win this game by 4 points, and they will be the reigning Super World Club champions. Now, I believe the last time a Super League team won was 2017, and they lost to the Melbourne. And they beat the Melbourne Storm. Beat the Cronulla Sharks. My apologies. I think it was Wigan. I could be wrong, but since 2017 till 2020, because 2021-22 didn't have the World Club Challenge, the UK team that's in the World Club Challenge have lost since 2018. But I think Sir Helens will win it easily by 4 points, 1 to 12 points. Now we are on to our first Queensland clash in week 2 of the trials, between the fiercest rivalry in the Queensland Derby between the Brisbane Broncos and the North Queensland Cowboys, taking place at Sunshine Coast Stadium. Now, both of these teams both drew last week. All Queensland teams drew last week, which that's a surprising result. It could happen again. But overall, both teams played alright last week. But I believe for this game, I think the Cowboys will have the better squad. Although it's in around the Brisbane area, I think Cowboys will easily win this one, 1 to 12 points. So I see the Cowboys winning by 4 points of 16 to 12 scoreline. That's what I see happening. So the Cowboys to win 1 to 12 points. Now we are up to our first of 4 trial games again on Sunday. Another 4 games of footy. Oh boy. Now our first encounter is between the New Zealand Warriors and the Melbourne Storm, taking place in Christchurch. So I'm glad that there are games in New Zealand at least. So this is playing at Orange Fury Stadium, Christchurch. Alright, that's very nice. Now, who do I see winning this game? Warriors were very good against the against the Tigers last week, and Melbourne just lost to the Roosters down there at Geelong. But if we're talking about full strength squads, I think Melbourne will easily win this, but it'll be a close game. I reckon Melbourne will win this one 1 to 12 points by 6 points. So sorry Warriors, even though you're very good against the Tigers, against the Storm, it's on another level. So Storm 1 to 12 points. Now we are on to another doubleheader, this time at Belmore Sports Ground. The first game between the West Tigers and the Canberra Raiders. Now both teams were abysmal last week. The West Tigers have heavily defeated by the Warriors, and the Raiders didn't play that well against the Bulldogs last week, which the Bulldogs played well, which I'll get to that shortly. So I think this is going to be probably one of the more boring games. Sorry Tigers and Raiders fans. It's really tough to say who'll win this one, but I'm going to go for the upset here. I think Tigers are going to win this one. I mean, you got Isaiah Papali'i, Upara Coruscant, John Bateman probably playing this game when the team list comes out tomorrow on Tuesday. But I believe Tigers will easily win this game 1 to 12 points by 4 points. So Tigers beat the Raiders so easily at Belmore Sports Ground. And our second game of the doubleheader at Belmore Sports Ground takes place between the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs and the Cronulla Sharks. Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs last week against the Raiders played very well, and I'm amazed of how the Bulldogs have played in that game. Well, the Cronulla Sharks, while they did win against the Knights last week at Industrial Group Stadium, it was a bit of a Blair game. It's a bit of a boring game against the Knights, but I think this is going to be a better clash. This will be a very close game, but I'm also going to go for the upset here. Bulldogs to win 1 to 12 points by 6 points. I think the Dogs were too good against the Raiders last week. I think they'll be good in this game as well. So Bulldogs 1 to 12 points. That's their home ground as well. And our final trial game end of the trials is between the Dolphins and the Gold Coast Titans. The second Queensland derby. Now I think this is going to be the more boring game of the two Queensland games, and probably the most boring of the trial game as well. That's just my opinion. Now, Dolphins in their first trial game officially, even though they played one last week, I didn't watch it, or the week before rather. Now, I think the Dolphins played very well against the Cowboys, especially coming back in the second half and whatnot to draw the game. Or the Titans, even though they were abysmal against the Broncos, they managed to did come back and draw their game as well. Now, I think this is going to be a close game. And considering how shit both the Dolphins and Titans are, I think the Dolphins are going to win 1 to 12 points by 6 points. And this is also happening at KO Stadium, which used to be called Morton Daly Stadium, or sometimes would be referred to Dolphins Stadium, but it's named KO Stadium for sponsor reasons. That will come towards the end of the second week of the trials video. And that, everyone, will conclude my Week 2 Pre-Season Challenge Trials Week 2 tipping video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Now, I just had a look. I've cracked 600 subscribers finally. Just want to say thank you very much who has subscribed to the channel in the last couple of days. I was surprised how many subscribers I've gained. Honestly, I've gained about 20 subscribers in the last 3 to 4 days. Unreal. Now we're on the way to 700 subscribers. Just want to say thank you for everyone for your constant support. Without you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. But without further ado, comment down below your Week 2 trials tips, and good luck to the Panthers and Sir Helens. Should be a cracking game to see who wins the World Club Challenge. But remember, I'm going to Helens 1 to 12 points. But anyways, everyone, this will conclude Week 2 of the Week 2 of the trials video. Now I will be doing my Super League tips tomorrow, as the Super League will start up on Friday, I believe, our time here, or Friday, our time here in New South Wales, and Thursday over there in the United Kingdom. But without further, and I will also be doing the 2 Rugby League Live 4 games again. I will be doing the Dragons and Rabbitohs encounter, and the Panthers and the Panthers and St Helens, and that video will be coming out. Those videos will be coming out probably Friday or Saturday, and then I'll be doing the review of the Charity Shield game between the two teams, between the Dragons and Rabbitohs. Whoever, doesn't matter who wins, it should be a crackerjack game as well. But without further ado, everyone, this will conclude the video. I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Take care.